we got another point release, 2020.36.3. Of course, because it's a point release, didn't get anything new, but hopefully we do have some minor improvements and bug fixes as always. And I have a little bit of follow-up on some more traffic signs, speed limit signs that we found. Today we're going out for another little drive. We're going to see if there are any other updates that we missed on the last software update, 2020.36, and today we have 2020.36.3. So we're going to see if there are any differences that are noticeable. See if we can find a school zone. That might be interesting to see what it does around a school zone. I know it does react to the lights even if they're not active around a school zone. So it'll be interesting to see if it'll actually slow down. Also, an update, we still don't have the update on the Model 3, so in this case the Model Y was at least a week earlier with the update than the Model 3, so it's really hard to say how they decide which one comes first. We have both of them set on the advanced option, so we're supposed to get early updates, but I don't think that button really does anything. Still, it's interesting that one car seems to be getting it before the other, almost always the Model Y, and the Model Y is newer, so is that why? Anyway, so we're going to check a little bit today on some streets around here, and then also I had a couple instances on a road when we went for a bike ride. There was a street that has a 65 mile per hour speed limit sign, and for some reason Tesla was never picking that up. So the Model Y would never pick up the 65 mile per hour speed limit sign on that particular road. And I thought maybe that it wasn't picking up over 55 miles per hour because it would pick up those fine. But it turns out it did pick up over 55 miles per hour. It picked up 65 and 70 on the interstate. So it picked those up just fine. So I'm not really sure what was causing it to miss the 65 mile per hour signs on this particular stretch of road. So we'll have to see if it updates over time and begins to get those correct or pick them up. I'm not really sure what's different about those than others. They definitely seem to be clearly marked and all that. Also, I definitely do not think there is any retention of the speed limit once it is tracked. So even in the neighborhood, it constantly goes back, reverts back to 45 miles per hour, and then when it sees a 25 mile per hour sign, it picks that up again just fine, but it always reverts back to that 45 as if it does not know what the speed limit is for that street, even though it has seen the sign many times in the past. Obviously, you go through the neighborhood, 20, 30 times, and it should be able to retain that information. So I'm not sure if it's going to take a few more software updates before they start to retain some of that information rather than just picking it up as you go along. We'll have to see if that occurs as well, if they start backfilling that map data that they have. That would be really interesting and really helpful actually in the future if they did do that. So let's go out for a little drive today and check and see if we see anything interesting, and I'll give you an update. So here it is, speed limit 45 miles per hour on this street, and we have gone on this street many times. It is 25 miles per hour. Now, granted, there is no 25 mile per hour speed limit sign in this direction, only the opposite direction. So once it does start to pick up speed limits, it'll be interesting to see if it's going to put that data in for both directions. I would hope so. Definitely is valid for both directions. But the speed limit sign's actually back that way, the opposite direction. So this school is not in session right now, but sometimes they kind of leave the school zone signs active. And it looks like maybe not today. You can see that it does pick it up as a light up there, the school zone sign. It's not flashing, it's not active, so it doesn't retain that speed. But I want to know is if the school zone is active at the time, if it's flashing, will it pick up the speed limit that is on the school zone speed limit sign rather than just the regular 35 mile per hour speed. Might not be able to check it around here. We'll have to go to possibly a different county where the schools are actually in session at this time. So maybe we'll check that out tomorrow, see if we can find one. So it couldn't handle that intersection. Not sure what was confusing about that intersection, but it didn't make it across, obviously. Definitely room for improvement there. Here is another school zone that's not active, but it often gets confused about this light. So again, a school zone light, not active. It maybe is better with that now. It still indicates that it's going to slow down a little bit. It shows a line, but with the light not being active, thankfully it just goes through it, so that's good. Again, it'll be interesting to see if it picks up that 25 mile per hour speed versus the 40 miles per hour for this street if it's active. So here's that neighborhood that we tried before to see if it would pick up that speed and whether it would retain it. So turning on to this, immediately picks up the 25 mile per hour speed limit sign, but it didn't change the speed. So it has a problem with that speed limit sign for sure. I'm not sure why it misses that. It actually showed up on the display, but it didn't actually change the speed limit to 25. It's almost like it wasn't certain of that speed. Now, one thing that is different about that speed limit sign back there is that it does have a little bit of a sign on top of it, but maybe that's what's confusing it. Like maybe it's not activated because there was another sign in conjunction with the speed limit sign. It's not just a standalone speed limit sign. But as you can see, each street that I turn on to, it has to relearn the speed limit and does not activate it until it sees that speed limit sign. So no retention or no memory of the speed limit. So no active school zone today. We'll have to check that out tomorrow and see if we can get one then and give you an update on that. But still interesting to see that there is no memory on the new software update 2020.36.3. And again, still no update on the Model 3. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.